just seeing where the computer is so I can see comments, and that doesn't seem to be coming up, so we'll just refresh the page quickly. There we go. And it happens like that sometimes, I'm afraid. I don't quite know why, but it just doesn't key into the video. Right, sorry about that false start for anybody who joined me and then I disappeared. I'd got the wrong orientation on my camera, and it spoils the look of the video if it's the wrong way round. And of course I'd got all of the notes about today's card, and I had actually keyed in a post from somebody that I'm casing it from, and I'd got everything all sorted, and then of course I realised that it was the wrong orientation, so I had to cancel and start again. But all of those will be put back on this video after it's finished, so if anybody's interested in having a look at the other site, then please do come back and have a look. Right, let's start from the beginning. Welcome everybody, my name's Babsie, and I'm here to show you a fun fold card that I have cased from the lovely Jan B. It fits really lovely into the projects that we've been doing this week, and I'll just reach over to show you, to just go through the cards that we have done together this week. So on Monday we had this card, very simple, stamping the Painted Poppies, this one all in the background, and then using the larger one for the sentiment and on the sentiment banner, and then just popping that into the ink pad to give a little Highland Heather edge to the card. So that was that one. And then we did, we had a little bit of time, so I decided to grab some coloured cardstock and a piece of very vanilla and stamp away and see what we came up with. And we made this lovely card, totally ad hoc. And at first I didn't quite like it because of the solid colour here. But actually when I cut it down and put it on the card, I really did like it. And this is stamped in not Early Express, so it's the other one, soft suede, I think. Yes, soft suede. It was stamped in soft suede, so not so dark. And this is the same technique as the other card, just stamped on the cardstock in the same colour, so that's Flirty Flamingo. And then I used the large stamp here, and I stamped off on some of them and just did second and third generation all the way over, and I think it's come out really lovely. And then on Wednesday I showed you how I did another card in exactly the same way, chose a different the larger poppy for this one, and then stamped them on some very vanilla and cut them out and added some leaves as well. So that's literally stepping up the card that we did on Monday. Sometimes I don't do that, sometimes I show you an alternative. So this is the one that we did on Wednesday as well. So this one had the same idea, but this time I stamped the greeting on the background. I think that's given a really unique backing to that, and I really do like that stamping. And then this is Pool Party, and then small bits of very vanilla stamped again from the Painted Poppies stamp set. And these greetings, by the way, are from Butterfly Wishes, that's why that one's here. And then I put some bling on the side, and then the poppies on the inside, again in soft suede. So they're the cards we made the week, and this is what we're going to make today. We're doing a, Jan calls it a gatefold pop-up card. So it starts as a gatefold, and then when you open up, there's a pop-up element. I've changed the colours and some of the bits and pieces, but basically it is designed on Jan B, the lovely Jan B, and I love watching her. She has everything just so perfect, and she gives you all the right measurements and step-by-step instructions on how to make the card. And I love watching her because it's just so easy to sit and listen to her. So we're using Painted Poppies, as I said, and we're using the sentiments like we had before. Love to celebrate you and birthday wishes. And a different element today is we're going to use this lovely ornate floral 3D embossing folder. I don't know whether you can see that. It's got lovely flowers on it, but you'll see the card as well. So this is the gatefold card. So this is half an A4 sheet, so you can imagine a whole A4 sheet just cut in half. So it's 5 7/8 by 8 1/4. Now, I picked this tip up from another demonstration, and it might even be Jan, because she gives some lovely tips. I scored at 2 1/16 on one side, and then instead of trying to score on this side, I folded it over, got the edges and the side to meet exactly, and then creased it down with my bone folder, and then you get an exact meet in the middle. Sometimes my scoring just isn't quite right, and the card can move just a fraction, and it spoils the gatefold because it doesn't meet in the middle. So that was a tip that I was given, so I'm passing that on to you. So score on one side, 2 1/16, and then fold the other, and then you'll get it exactly right. And I can see that still popping up, so I'm just going to crease that down. Now on Jan's video, you will see that she's used mini magnets to close hers, but I'm afraid I don't have them, so mine's going to pop open a little bit, but I don't mind that. So let me draw in the elements that we're using. So these two are the lovely embossed pieces that are going to go on the front of the card, and they measure 1 3/4 by 5 5/8. So you want 2 of those, and as you can see, I've embossed them. Now to get the pop-up element, you want 2 pieces of, I've already folded mine, but I'm missing a piece of card. Just bear with me a moment. I don't know where that's gone. Okay. Right, well, we'll carry on. It must be there somewhere. Right, to get the pop-up element, you need 2 pieces of 1 inch by 4 3/4 cardstock. Now, I've just used very vanilla, but in hindsight, I should have used the Poppy, the Purple Posy, because that would, although you don't see it, it would be slightly stronger. So that's something that you can rectify when you make your card. So 2 pieces, 1 inch by 4 3/4, and you're going to score that at every inch. So 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, and 4 inch. And when you fold it, you'll find that you'll make a little square like this with 3/4 of an inch over. And all I've done is to tuck that in here and glued it together. I think you can see just, whoops, if you have a look in here, where's it gone? There. You can see that I've just tucked it in there and glued it. I hope you can see that. So that's where that 3/4 of an inch has gone in there, just to secure it. Now you want 2 pieces of, I've got red tape here, but you can use our Seal Plus. That's been designed especially for box making and this sort of project, because it is extra strong. It is as strong, if not stronger, than the red tape that you can buy. But like I said before, I've only got red tape at the moment. I'm hoping to get some Stampin' some Seal Plus, but it's not in my order yet. So on that piece that you have glued together, you put 2 pieces on there and 2 pieces on there so you can secure it, and we'll show you that later. So you've got 2 of those, so you make 2 little boxes. So we'll put those aside for now. And then to add the element of pop-up, you have 2 of these squares. Now I've used the square stitched labels and the square scalloped dies. I've also used some other oval dies for the front of the card. You really don't need to do this if you don't have die cuts like these fancy ones with stitched and scalloped edges. You can use what you've got, and if you haven't, then you can just cut the squares. These squares measure 2 1/8 square, and this one measures 2 1/2 square. Now if you were doing a straight edge there, then you can up this to 2 1/4 and still get an edge. So it will sit on there just as well. It's just that with the scalloped you lose a little bit of the edge. So if you were just cutting them as squares, you could do 2 1/2 inch squares and 2 1/2 inch squares and 2 1/4 inch squares. And these are the ones we're going to stamp on. So I'm just going to put those down there. And eventually these will stick on the pop-up so that when you adhere one of these sides to here and one to here, so that's how your squares are going to go. These will be stuck on there, and then that folds down, and then when you pick it up it pops up. So that's the pop-up element. Hopefully, let's hope it works. Jan's a beautiful teacher, so I'm sure it will be all right. Now this is what I'm going to put on the front of the card, and again I've used a plain oval and a stitched oval, but you can use what's in your stash. You can even upskill the squares that you've used for the pop-up and have a slightly bigger square. Instead of doing 2 1/2 inch, you could take it maybe to 3 1/2 inches so that you get a nice big square on the front. So there's lots of options with this card. You don't have to have all these fancy dies. I'm using them because that's what I've got. So we'll need that bit for stamping. Right, so for this one I'm going to use this lovely, I don't know where that came from, this lovely single poppy, and it, you know, just a small head on it. So that's what I'm going to use, and I'm going to do that in crumb cake, I think. No, I won't. I'm going to do it in soft suede because that's what I did with the other one, and I like that. So yeah, we'll do it in soft suede. There we are, lightly tapping your stamp. And I'll tell you what I'll do now. I'll get some paper and I'll just put it at the base. Oh, where's my scrap? Oh, I should know this. It's always underneath my table. Right. I don't want this to go right the way down the edge, and you can see that stitched part there, so I'm just going to cover that. I don't want it to go all the way down, so just to have that somewhere there, and that goes down there. So just hold it for a second, let the ink get onto the card, And there we go. So we've done that. Put that aside. And now we're going to do the two inside. Now we're going a bit different on the colours with this one. I've just done a colour challenge, well, a Zoom meeting with some friends, and we were challenged with some stamp sets and some ink pan. So I chose them not knowing quite what we were going to do, and I ended up doing the outside of a poppy in Highland Heather, which is like a light purple. Oops. And because of the colours that I had chosen was Seaside Spray, which is like a bluey lilac, that's all I had, so that's what I had to use. And I thought, oh dear, wonder how that's going to work. But in actual fact, it worked really well. And somehow or other, I have caught the edge of, it must have been the edge of the stamp, I think, on the card to make that line. But this mono sand eraser is a brilliant tool. It gets little mistakes like that off really well. So here goes. So we're stamping this splash again from the Painted Poppies into there, and I'm going to stamp off because it's just a little bit too dark, and then I'm going to just splash it on, so it just gives a little bit of a blue. There we go. And that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look it's supposed to give like a washed effect. There we go. So I'm quite happy with that. So we close that up, and then I want to stamp some leaves. I've got a piece of card here. So that's going to be there, and I think I'll probably cut these out because we don't have dies for these. There we are. So that's that. Oh, I'm going to need the splash as well. I forgot the splash to fill in the leaves. So let me get my stamp set and then I can pull that one out. We've got a little bit of this stamp here which colours in the leaves. So let me just grab my little block. Hello Carol, that's lovely of you to join me. Stamp off so it's not so strong, and this I'm doing in Pear Pizzazz. There we go. We're casing a card that I saw the lovely Jan B do. It fitted ever so well in the cards that I've done this week with the Painted Poppies. So, and it is a beautiful card, so I thought I'd case it. So we've got Pear Pizzazz in, oh I haven't, that's Granny Apple Green, that's not it. There we are, Pear Pizzazz in the right markers, so I can colour in the stalk. Now this one is the one that's going on the front of the card, and that looks like it's run out. I'm going to be really careful with this paintbrush end. I'm lucky I've still got a point on this one. When you use it for colouring quite a lot, the point sort of gets squashed because you're really supposed to colour with the side of the pen. And then just like I usually do, just a few lines. I don't like filling them in really so it's absolutely full, just a few lines to give a little bit of colour. Now just as I said before, just some lines to give some colour, and then for this one as well, just follow the petals round. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do, whoops, right off the edge, I'm not going to do it all in purple. I'm hoping to bring a little bit of the Seaside Spray Blue in, so when I can get the right balmy blue, I think that's going to be too strong. I'm not actually sure whether I've got one Seaside Spray. I did think I had. Maybe I haven't. In which case we're just going to have to stay with that blue. Let's see if this one would work. Oh yes, that's not far off of it. So this one's Coastal Cabana, but I'm only using it really, really lightly, and it just gives that little bit of blue. And that will tie in with the blue inside the card. There we go. Oh, I quite like that. That's turned out better than what I thought. That's brilliant. Let's put a little bit more, just a couple more lilacs in there, or Highland Heathers, should I say. There we are. Yep, I'm really pleased with that. That's turned out quite well. Brilliant. Right, let's put those aside. Right, now the mechanics of the card. Right, yes, we've got to fussy cut these out. And then it'll just be a case of putting the card together. Oh, hello Tracy, that's lovely of you to join me. Sorry I didn't notice you there. I was trying to concentrate on my colouring. I'm not one for colouring, as you probably know if you've watched me for any time. I'm not a colour person. I try and get away with it as much as I can. So any shortcuts? Oh, hello Jenny. That's lovely of you to join me as well. When I've cut a couple of these leaves out, I'll refresh what I'm doing. Right, I wanted to do a fun fold with the Painted Poppies, and I have done one in our team meeting, which is, well, I think it's quite a successful one. But I didn't want to repeat that one again, so I tried to look for something different. And I had in my idea, one of my ideas was to have a poppy on a pop-up card, but I couldn't quite get it right. I couldn't quite get what I wanted. To sit into the card that I wanted to do. So I just went on to YouTube, and I remembered that the lovely Jan B had done a poppy card not so long ago. I think it was the beginning of August, I think. So this is sort of casing what she has done. So I had all my links and everything. I'd linked her page and done linked all the products that you needed to make this, and a little bit about what I was doing, all before the video, so it was all there when you came today to join me. And then as the video went live, I noticed that I was in the wrong orientation. I hadn't turned my tablet round so that you get a landscape view, and of course then it all went downhill from there. I had to stop the video and start again, and yeah, it wasn't good. So yeah, I started again. So what we're doing is a gatefold. So here's a gatefold, and we're creating 2 little blocks to go here and here on inside the gatefold, so they get stuck there. They fold down, and then as you open them, they pop up, and you've got these squares that get stuck on there, so they fold down and then they pop up when you open them. All will become clear. That's basically what it looks like. I'm just checking my computer because it seems to have stopped streaming. Oh no, I'm still there. That's fine. Still there. Right. So, and the next thing I need is some extra cardstock. So we'll have a little bit extra cardstock. Oh, not that one. Oh, dear. Yes, I forgot this little bit. You have to, I've stamped straight on the card. In actual fact, you need to, it will have to be that one. In actual fact, you just need to step it up a bit. It doesn't actually go straight onto the card because you have to do a little bit of fussy cuttings. So here we go again. There we go. So 1, 2. And we use the splodge one from the stamp set, and as I painted poppies, just stamp off and then put that on there, and again just to give it the little bit of blue. There we go. And then we're fussy cutting those round. I do apologise. I stamped straight onto the card thinking that that's all it was, and then when I was cutting out the leaves I thought, well, how on earth are the leaves going to sit behind the poppies? And then of course I realised I should have stamped them on separate pieces. See, it doesn't matter how much you plan for these lives, there's always potential for you to get ahead of yourself and to go the wrong route. But, you know, it's all experience, and it just gives me added time so I can talk to you lovely guys. So that's nearly finished. There we go, all the way round. And I don't know how many of you saw the front of the card, but I'll show you the front of the card. Oh, well, you can see it sitting there. Right, so Now that's done. So when I've coloured this, I've put the Highland Heather and the blue into the flower to coordinate with the inside. So that will adhere up on the top there. In actual fact, we could do a little bit more there. And, well, no, it won't be worth it because it's going to be shut in the card. I was going to say you could cut into it and fold it like we did the other card, but it's actually going to be sat in the card, so it's not going to be worth doing. But anyway, there we go. Let's get on and make the card. So let's get the stamps out the way. We'll yeah, we will adhere these on because then it's a bit already done then, isn't it? So we want to pop those up on dimensionals. So I've got a couple here. Whoops, jumping off. Put one more on for good luck. There we are. Pop that on there. And then we can pop the leaves in behind it. So let's put that one in there. Oh, try again. That's better. That's better. And don't forget, if these have got to be put up against the side here, so you don't want anything. Your flowers will have to be arranged so that the leaves don't go up on that side. So that's the way you'll have to adhere that one, or yeah, if you see what I mean. So, dimensionals on this one. There we go. And then that's it. I wish you could switch off notifications while you're going live. It's so irritating when they pop up and you can't see what people are saying or what they're doing. So there we go. So that's that popped in there. So that one will go on that side like that. Let's pop that up there. Right, now the next part is to do your stamping. So our stamping are going to be in Highland Heather. And the two sentiments I've chosen are the sentiments that we've used this week, which is let's love to celebrate you. So we want one at the top here on the right hand side. And then we're going to have birthday wishes down on the left hand side at the bottom. So there we go. That's your two sentiments. And we can put that into the card. Let's close that ink pad because I'm bound to get my fingers in it. So here we go, putting the centerpiece into the card now. So just lining that so it's centrally inside the card. There we go. And now we're going to put these on. So these are 2 strips of 1 inch by 4 3/4, scored at 1, 2, 3 and 4 inches, and then you tuck the 3/4 of an inch inside the box so it makes a cube. And then you have 2 sides together, so I've done this one and this one. You put 2 sides together and you adhere sort of, I've done red tape, but you can use these Stampin Up Seal Plus, because that's made for boxes, and it'll be really, really strong, so that's what it's made for. So in popping this in, you want to come up just short of the score line and popping that in straight, and then taking your card over so it gets stuck that way, and that creates your pop-up. And then this one will go onto the card like that. So we can adhere this onto the scalloped square, getting that central, shall I say? Dearie me. You can hear that wind, gosh. It would be another beautiful day out there if it wasn't for that wind. I'm sure it is just a beautiful day out there, I'm sure it is. And then that gets adhered to the top there, making sure that your leaf doesn't pop out the top. So there we go. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this bit. So I don't trust myself doing it the other way. There we are. We could lay it that way round actually. I think that might be better. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm pushing that ever so slightly in there so it gets right up to the crease, and leaving that there just to adhere, because it's going to take a little while. Meanwhile, we'll stick the other one. So off comes the tape. There we go. And again, the bottom sticky one goes in first, almost up to the edge of the crease. Not right up to the crease, because otherwise, excuse me, otherwise you wouldn't be able to fold the card, but nearly to the crease. So then you've got one sticky edge in there, and then you fold the card down to adhere that, and then that's where you've got your card. So there we are, and then this one will go on here. So we can turn that round. No, that'll have to go that side. Yeah, that's not too bad. Right, so there we go, and we glue that one down there, and we take that up to there. So, oh no, that's got to be stuck on. Oh, nearly. That one's got to be adhered onto there. I think the wind must be blowing my brains around today. Oh dear. And then we can adhere that to here. And again, just want to leave, oops, sorry. Just want to leave a little bit on there. So we're closing it down and just pushing ever so slightly. So it goes right in there, and then holding it down, making sure that that is square to that there. There we are. And you'd be none of the wiser until you opened the card. Now, how pretty is that? Made a little bit of a mistake with the greenery there, because you can't see the sentiments. I wonder if I can just tweak that a little bit. Yes, that's much better. Look at that. Love to celebrate you and birthday wishes. That's it. We can finish the card now by putting the embossed layers to the front, which I probably should have done right at the very beginning. But it's been one of those days today, I think. So again, just leaving a border all the way around the card, adhering that down, and then this one as well. Just leaving that border around. And then one more. And that's our topper or closure. Not quite right. I find ovals the hardest thing to match. Right, let's try it again. Be sensible and use my grid paper. There we go. You see, when you when you do it the proper way round, it works. Oh dear. Right. So the next thing you do is just to adhere that to the front. And so we just put the glue on this side, and that can stick onto, and it might not actually, but we'll give it a go. That might have to be red tape, but we'll see how it goes. There we go, we finally finished after a little bit of a hiccup. There we go. So that's the last of the Painted Poppies set for this week, and a gatefold pop-up card. How sweet is that? Thank you, Jan. That is absolutely brilliant, and I love it. And I'll be posting this on your page just to show you what I did with your suggestion. I like that. Love it, love it, love it. There we go. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. I certainly did, after a few hiccups. But yeah, it's all good to go, and we got there in the end. So thank you all for joining me. It's been a pleasure to show you this new gatefold pop-up card, and it's been an experience today. As I said, I think the winds had a lot to do with it, blowing my brain around today. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to be able to show you this layout, and hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.